Right. Well, as we mentioned, this episode, we're not just celebrating Christmas, we are celebrating a year of the Aches and Games pod. So happy birthday to us, James. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
It feels like a momentous occasion. We said we would do this for a year and then reflect and see how it was going. Hopefully we'll carry on. Stay tuned for that decision. But we thought we would take the opportunity to kind of look back at the episodes. Won't go one by one, but we will go through some of the themes, some of the high points, maybe some of the less high points throughout the 12 months. Hopefully there aren't that many. And we'll also talk about the future of the podcast. So first of all, you may recall, and if you were listening back then, thank you. Hope you enjoyed it. But we started off by introducing ourselves back last December and taking our listeners through our gaming journey. Any thoughts on that particular episode, James?
Yeah, it does ring a bell, so that's a bonus. And it was only a year ago, so my short-term memory's not that bad quite yet. But yeah, we both had similar gaming journeys, didn't we? Out of interest, both sort of mid-80s. I'm sure everyone will remember from listening back to the episode, but if you can't remember, please do listen back to the episode and let us know what you thought of it. Really good, really good. One of the best ever. And yeah, I started off with a Spectrum on my 8th birthday, I think it was. So I got that for Christmas, and a 14-inch portable TV from my nan and granddad, so I could play my Spectrum on. And I posted on social media recently, actually, a comparison picture of Joshua's set up now with his 77-inch TV on the wall, a reclining sofa, and very modern technology, with mine sitting in my mum's dining room chair on a tiny desk with a 14-inch TV and a cabinet full of booze next to me. And I got lots of fun feedback in the Ever40s gaming group. So it's fascinating how much has all changed since we started gaming. And back then, like we just talked about with the Chaos Engine, games are very different now, very short, very hard. And you never really ever finished any, and I've still never finished any of the olden games that I played, even when I've gone back to them now. Got nowhere near them at all. So yeah, we've been doing this for 40-odd years. Almost feels like we've been doing a podcast for 40-odd years some days, but we haven't. It's just been a year. But yeah, back then, the only downside was we had awful audio, didn't we, for the first few episodes, and certainly for that fourth one, it felt like we were talking to each other using a piece of string and some cups. But people seem to like the content and like the relaxed nature of the way we were talking to each other and stuff. And I think someone said it felt like a warm hug on a winter's day. That might have been me. Might have been us, yeah. But since then we've developed and the technology's got better. But it was nice to get it going, wasn't it? It was just a nice little initial idea that you came up with, and we thought we'd give it a little crack as a chance to have a regular catch up and talk about some geeky crap. So here we are, still talking about that geeky crap.
Very good summary. My main memory is about the sound quality, unfortunately, which was really poor. The content and that episode was, probably one of my favourite memories of these 12 months, which is hopefully not saying too much about the other episodes, but I think it's always good to look back. And we've tried since then to also cover some older games here and there. To sort of bring in some stories from our sort of gaming past, and we'll continue to do that. So yeah, I think we started fairly strong, audio aside, and who knows, maybe one day that episode will get its own remaster or remake, and people will see a tidied up version and can listen to that one. So then in January did our what may well become an annual Game of the Year awards, which so we were looking back, I think, at games that we'd played during 2023 rather than things that had come out necessarily, because we, as we talk about, we tend to play things a bit after the event in the sales and on the subscriptions. So yeah, again, January's episode, we also talked about gaming resolutions. I don't know if you remember yours, James, for this year. Maybe we can look back next month and see how we did.
Weirdly, I remember your one, but I have absolutely no idea about my one. It's funny to have less games in my backlog, and that's failed ridiculously because I've got like 5 times the amount of rubbish in my backlog, which I've still not touched. So I fail every resolution. It's almost a sort of an annual joke. That's the whole point of resolutions, isn't it? To set yourself a task that's completely unachievable, and you feel bad at the end of it, and start all over again.
Exactly, and we are nailing it. But it was a fun episode again. The future episodes, then we went into some themes, or rather I will go into some themes, where a number of episodes that we covered similar ideas. So the February episode was our first time we tried to cover one of those live streams announcing new games. And we've done this a few times since. So this was the Developer Direct that was the Xbox event in January. And we talked that through in February, but we've also had the Xbox Showcase and the Summer Games Fest in the summer. We've had some streams from PlayStation, I think even from Nintendo. And what's your memories of any of those episodes, James, or any thoughts on that? I think it was something you hadn't watched or seen or done before.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That was my main thought, and it sounded so ridiculously geeky that you'd watch a preview program to see what games are coming up that you'd never have time to play. That I had no interest at all. But yeah, you made me do it, and it was quite enjoyable. And now I watch them routinely because they're quite good fun. And it's the only bit I don't enjoy about the PlayStation one is the stupid way they say PlayStation at the end of each one in a sort of a robotic, stupid voice, and that annoys me every time. So apart from that, the PlayStation ones are quite fine. Apart from the people popping up and saying noble, worthy things in every few minutes for no good reason, and a stupid voice at the end. Apart from that, very enjoyable, and I like being at the cutting edge of future gaming technology and news now. So I've completely changed.
There we go. Well, and hopefully, listeners, you feel slightly more informed about what's coming up, even if, as we said, we tend to be playing stuff from between 2 and 10 years ago, depending on what's cheap or offered in the subscriptions. But James, you highlighted, especially in Game Pass, for example, some new stuff landing day one has made us occasionally nearly current, as I think we talked about last month.
Surprisingly common, in fact. We've gone for Black Ops, we've gone for Indiana Jones, we had Animal Well, which was day one, and Harold Halibut was day one. So every one of our recent games of the month have all been day one releases.
There you go. Age of Mythology as well. That was day one. And we'll gloss over Jeanne d'Arc then, which was from 15 years ago or something. But was still really fun and really interesting, and the sort of game that I wouldn't have played if it wasn't for the podcast. So again, part of this show, we want to try and kind of delve into the back catalogue as well. So we'll do a bit of both.
Yeah.
Excellent. 2 more themes. We've had some sort of themed episodes, so we occasionally try and pick a topic. We talked about remasters, we talked about gaming length, gaming difficulty, what counts as a game, the gaming subscription services, and so these topics, James, we've had a chance to maybe step away from the kind of month-to-month activity and look a bit longer term.
Now you've summarised them, yes. Looking back now, it does sound like we had some great discussions about some great things. So I'd recommend people go back and listen to our exciting views on all those things. And in part, those are some sort of evergreen topics, aren't they? We've got some things we discuss each month where we just have a chat about what we've been up to that month, which if you listen back in 6 months' time is a bit pointless because we've all been doing it. But some of the bits are quite evergreen, so you could listen in 6 years' time and listen to our review of Black Ops 6, and it'll be equally relevant because Black Ops 6 will still probably be the same in 6 years' time. So yeah, we've always had a bit of a division, haven't we? We've had half our episodes been about our current life, and half our episodes have been about stuff that we have no timestamp on them. So that's a fascinating thing to look back on, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. And we keep trying to encourage people to go back and check out things like our features that we are a bit less time dependent. But we know that's kind of a bit fiddly to get into just that topic as opposed to that monthly discussion. So hold that thought. Just lastly, we've also occasionally, a bit similar to what you just described though, we've picked out our favourite summer games or our favourite spooky games around Halloween. And those were fun as well, weren't they? Those were good episodes. Again, less time dependent, a bit more open to interpretation.
Yeah, I mean, Halloween was fun, wasn't it? We talked about Costume Quest 2, which is a proper Halloween type game. Sometimes it's been quite hard to pick them out because some games have lots of season dependent stuff. So, like for example, Fortnite, they have a Halloween spooky bits and they have Christmas spooky bits. But some games, depending on when they come out, obviously they don't want to tie it down to a particular season of the year because it will put people off playing it for the rest of the year. So most games are fairly generic, and occasionally it's only really the online multiplayer stuff that gets updated regularly. So we really had to rack our brain with some of them. Even the summer games, it's quite hard to find, and we're sort of reaching a little bit. And when I said the start of Plague Tale Rec Room, felt like a summer game because it was set in France and there were some plants. But there we go. So yeah, if you enjoyed us reaching for those games, hopefully this time next year when we have a similar topic, we'll have thought of a few more.
Well, and you mentioned that. I was actually thinking when I was looking at the game of the month for this month, we should really do something Christmassy or wintry. And I was looking through the subscription services and I was like, it's quite a stretch, actually. Usually there's at
Mm.
least a snowboarding game or something you can rely on, but only a couple of sort of tangentially Christmas games. But again, I think we can talk about that in a future episode maybe. But yeah, as you mentioned, sometimes finding a topic each month can be of variable relevance, and so again, we'll be talking about what we're going to do going forward. Just before
Although
we do,
having said that, PlayStation this month has got It Takes Two on it, which we've talked about before, and that's a perfect family type Christmas game because you play them sort of as a father and son combo, or a husband and wife combo, or a girl and boyfriend combo, or any member of your family can play that type of game. It's really easy to get into and really enjoyable. So that kind of does fit in with a sort of a family Christmas type theme. The Aliens game, not quite so festive and not quite so family orientated. But that's the other thing that's coming out on PlayStation Plus this month.
good point. Yes, we did skip that section today. It's been a bit freeform, so thank you for squeezing it in. So just on the year recap, then, so we mentioned sound quality. We've added video. So hello to our video watchers as well as our audio listeners. We try and describe. Paint pictures with words for you if you are just on audio. Still a great way to enjoy the show. We put the video up in full on YouTube now, as well as clip the main topics, and try and do some social stuff. Speaking of social media, James, you doing a great job on Facebook, and you added some TikTok stuff for us this year as well.
Yeah, I love me a bit of TikTok now. I've spent a fair bit of time watching TikTok videos because you can just sit down for 5 minutes when you're relaxing and watch a bizarre sequence of videos that are completely unrelated to each other. It's fascinating. The TikTok algorithm is deeply fascinating. And I quite like posting our little clips on here because people like just watching 30 seconds of what we talk about. If they don't have time to watch the full 74-hour episode, then they can just watch 30 seconds of us gabbling away looking pretty in our hats and get lots of engagement. So I like TikTok, so it's good to be part of that one now. And I've always liked Facebook, because that's my history of face life. And also with your Meta headset now, you're deeply ingrained in the Facebook world.
Yeah, that was one of the cons, but you don't have to connect to your Facebook account now, so that's good. I don't get recommendations for people I want to spend time with in a virtual world. As you said, the answer is usually no one. Yeah. Cool. You added the website as well, so another shout out for aches-and-games.co.uk.
Yeah, I've always liked websites. I've always had websites over the years. I like setting stuff up. I always get bored once I've set them up, but I love setting stuff up. That's just the way my brain works. But yeah, it's nice to have a physical presence on the web, so you can go back with the evergreen stuff, like the gaming reviews and clips and stuff that sort of doesn't tie you down to a particular month of the year or a year of the life. So yeah, pop along to the website, lots of reviews, lots of memes and rubbish on there. It's good fun, good harmless fun. Pop along, do some stuff.
Good stuff. So listeners, that was our highlights. Let us know what yours are. If you have been listening since the start, thank you very much. If you're a recent listener, just joined us, then thank you as well. We do recommend checking out some of the previous episodes, but we really welcome new listeners as well. And I guess it's probably time to talk about the future, James. Should we answer that question? Is the podcast continuing? This could be awkward if you say no. Yes.
Yeah, why not? Go for it.
Let's do it. So another year. 4 more years and a movie. No, that's something else.
One more year. One more year. One more year.
We've settled at one. We'll decide again in a year's time. But yeah, we are going to make some changes, folks. So just want to quickly explain what we're going to do differently, why we're doing it, and how you will hopefully benefit from those changes. So basically, as you may have noticed, and today is a great example because I think we're at an hour and a quarter once we do a little bit of trimming from our waffle at the start. Episodes have got a bit longer, and they're a bit longer than we'd like. I think we talk about how we're quite time limited as slightly older gamers, whether that's family responsibilities or that's work. And so we know that you are too in terms of listening. So we really wanted to get those episodes to the 45-minute to an hour mark. That was the goal at the start. We enjoyed adding in our Game of the Month, which was another development during the year. But we have grown and grown, and we are getting longer in terms of months. We've also if you've been picking up on the not so subtle hints in the last few minutes, we have also been very aware that some of our topics are a bit more non-time dependent, and we want people to be able to go and discover those and find those nice and easily if they're interested, if you're interested in what our favourite summer games are, or spooky games, or our memories of gaming past. We want those episodes to stand alone. So what we're planning to do is our monthly shows will stay. It'll be the Aches and Games Monthly. It'll be just what you know, first Friday of the month. Relax monthly check-in between us. We'll be talking about what we've been up to, the games we've been playing, our game of the month. It'll be and any news from that month. It'll be a very current episode. What we're then also going to do, so those episodes exactly as you are, same feed, first Friday of the month, 45 minutes to an hour. We will really try to hit that this time. But in addition, we're going to be doing the occasional special. So these will be on the same podcast feed. They'll be up on our YouTube channel. And these will be not every month, but we'd imagine somewhere between 4 and 6 a year. That gives us a chance to dive into a topic that we're interested in, that hopefully you're interested in, give it a bit more time, but also not reach for a topic when there's a month where maybe there isn't one. So again, we're just being fully transparent with you, thinking about you guys, thinking about ourselves a little bit as well. It gives us a chance to react to any big news or streams. We could react more quickly. So we just think it'll be a bit more flexible. So that's the plan. Happy with that, James?
I've got a great plan, Giles. Always happy with your plans.
It would be super awkward if you weren't, and you have had a chance at least to read the notes, so that sounds good. Our first special, folks, will be very soon, so it will be coming out just before or around New Year. You'll notice that is not too far off our next monthly episode, but it will publish before the next monthly episode, so look out for it. That's going to be, as we trailed earlier, our Games of the Year 2024, so expect a short, focused episode purely on our Games of the Year coming out on the same stream. We'll obviously talk about upcoming specials in each monthly episode, and then we'll be back for our January catch-up, talking about what we've been playing, talking about Indiana Jones, etc., in the usual way, and that will be the first Friday of the month, which happens to be Friday the 3rd? Very early, anyway.
Why not, yeah.
So look out for both of those, and look out for our new approach. We'll be publicising it on socials. As I say, we'll mention it obviously in future episodes when there's a special coming up. And please let us know what you think. Hopefully you agree that that's a good step forward for the pod.